welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing a training session with Dr. Jacqueline Duke. She is an IFBB Pro in Masters. She's currently in bikini also. She's currently training for a show. How far are you?
I am about 8 weeks plus a peak week out from my first show of 2023 season. I'm starting out with Janet's Battle to the Bodies in Fort Lauderdale. And then 2 weeks later, we're gonna hit up Daytona Pro. And then take a little bit of a break and see what kind of feedback I get, and then hit up Hurricane Pro right here.
Oh my God! Yeah. So you have a full season ahead of you.
I'm excited. I had to take some time off because I moved here from Chicago, so that was kind of an interruption. I'm happy to be back.
Good. What are we working on today?
We are working on shoulders and a little bit of arms. You know, bikini is all about the shoulders and the glutes.
Right.
Down it out. As you see, when they're not pumped, they can look quite lean, but we're gonna get all the blood in them and grow the muscles.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. She's doing a bunch of shows this season. She needs to grow, she needs to train hard, stimulate as much muscle protein synthesis as we can to grow those shoulders, grow those arms. First, we're gonna start off with just a basic warm up. We're gonna get the mobility in, the stretching, and then from there, we're actually gonna get into some warm up exercises, and then we're gonna get into the actual exercises where the goal is to break down as many muscle fibers as we can, and we do that with hypertrophy training, time under tension, and just a lot of partial sets, high volume exercises to basically get her sore, make her suffer a little bit, because that's what it comes down to. All right, let's get into it. What we're gonna do for the first movement would be mobility. So we want to make sure that all of the ligaments and tendons are ready to be trained and pushed. And the way we do that is by moving exactly the body part that we're training that allows everything to warm up, the blood to get in there, oxygen to get in there, and ultimately primes the muscle, the body, the joints for extreme amount of muscle protein breakdown. Face the mirror, and then we're gonna start with forward rotations, and we're gonna do 10 slow. So extend your scapula forward and just push down slowly as far as you can, and then all the way up, rotate exactly all the way up now. Like that, all the way up and down. Exactly, perfect. And now keep going. So we wanna do 5 slow, just like this. Just like that, and then for the next 5 will be a little bit faster. So that's 2. Yes, that's what we want right there. 5, so now you can speed up a little bit. There we go. 6, 9, and last one. 10, good, how was that?
Good.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing, 5 slow, 5 fast, just in reverse. Right, so we're gonna start from here, extend the scapula forward, and then all the way up. Keep the hands close together as much as possible as you're going up, and then let the shoulders actually start separating your arms, right? Where you can't go anywhere. Yeah, just like that. Perfect, there it is, that's what we want. Exactly. 2. Yes, you feel that shakiness? Yeah. 3. And 5, excellent. So now you can speed up for these next 5. All right, one more. Perfect, perfect. How was that?
Good.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is basically just this little light movement. So you're gonna open up your arms like this, and then you're gonna rotate forward, putting the side deltoid in the primary most upward position, and then we're just gonna do this, right here, like that. And we're gonna do 15 of these. So we wanna keep the range of motion very tight, so somewhere from this position, all the way to here, nothing more, because then we engage the trap. So we wanna mitigate that, like that. We're just gonna do 15, like so, and then that should force a little bit more blood in the side. There it is. Good. Yes. How does that feel? Do you feel like there's some blood in there going? You feel some heat in the muscles?
Yep.
Excellent. So what we're going to do now is grab these bars. And this is something to do before all of my workouts, because the last thing I want to do, especially in prep when we're getting ready for a show, which is me as well, to get injured. You know, even a tiny little tweak, like just a muscle little tweak can set us back weeks because we won't be able to train. So now if a shoulder situation happens, I can't train chest, forget about back, maybe a little bit of arms, and all I can do is legs. You know, so that's a massive issue. That's why we want to take warm-ups and mobility very, very seriously at this level. From this position, we're going to do 10 front raises. So we're going to raise like that all the way to our eyesight. So we want this highest point of the dumbbell all the way to our eyesight and then down. We get close together, bring the dumbbells as close as possible. Here and then down. The goal is to do 10 slow, no momentum, nothing. And this is gonna help out with forming that mind-muscle connection. And then once we're done with that, immediately, you're gonna open up your chest, forward rotation shoulders, and then we're just gonna do side lateral. Same rule applies. Slow, steady, lifting with the elbows. Imagine there's 2 hooks attached from the sides of your elbows pulling you up, right? And then once we're done with that, after we do 10, but we're just moving the scapula, like so. And we're gonna do 10 of these. And this will force blood into the rear delt. Okay. All right. See what we got. Excellent. Why I'm touching the muscle grips. This helps, is mind muscle connection. Give me 3 more. 1 and hold. Perfect, hand release. Excellent. How was that?
Good.
Mind muscle connection there?
Oh yeah.
Fucking got it. Good job. All right, you can set those down. Now we're gonna get into the first exercise of the day, and that would be, this is something that me and Jacqueline, Dr. Jacqueline, talked about. And she said she wanted to focus more on her front delt. So when we hit the physique, the front pose for women's bikini, it very much accentuates the front deltoid. Can you show us? There it is. So this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. And we want to, as Arnold used to say, slap on some clay a little bit when we need a little bit of deltoids. So that's what we want to do here. Add a little bit of shoulder. And these are some of the exercises that we'll be performing today in order to do that. First set, what we want to do here is get in this position, make sure we're centered. We have our form is chest out, back straight, and we're going to lean a little bit forward. This will allow us to push our center of gravity forward for balance, and raise our arm to eyesight level in front of us, allowing us to squeeze. And then we're bringing it to the center of the body. We don't want to lift out here. We want to bring it in to the center at eyesight level, nothing more, and then back down to about here, because this is a dead zone. The muscle is not engaged. The muscle fully engages from this position to here, back down, like so. And then same thing, other arm. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Fairly lightweight, but it's getting a little bit hard. And this is essentially what we're doing, is knocking off the rust. This is still in the warm-up stages, so nothing too crazy. We don't want to push too much. Excellent, that's what we want, right there. Right in the center of your face. Good job. Good job. How was that?
It starts out light and always gets really heavy.
Exactly. What I've noticed in recent times, especially as I'm training and now I'm competing, what I've noticed is when I train, those easy first, 10, 11 reps, we make those count in terms of make sure that we connect with every single one of them, because that sets us up for the last 3-4 reps. So imagine putting all of this tension on the muscle with rep to rep 11, and then rep 12, 13, 14, and 15. It's when the muscle fiber actually breaks down. So that's when it hurts, that's when it burns, that's when it sucks. And under no circumstance, we should be stopping right before that. We need to push, we need to break those muscle fibers, and that's where the magic happens. All right, are you ready for the next set?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, moving on to the next exercise. Rope front raises. So essentially the entire movement is to keep the hands less than shoulder width, right? So we want to keep them tight so we can squeeze the front deltoid here and then raise up, make sure we contract that deltoid and then come back down slowly to this position. Because here is a dead zone, we're not engaging the muscle, so there's no point. And also we want to mitigate momentum. So this would be the movement right here. So as you can see, I'm leaning forward for balance. And I'm squeezing the deltoid, thinking about, I like to think about old school bodybuilders with big deltoids. Especially I used to watch old videos back in the day of Arnold training, Kevin LeBron training, Ronnie Coleman when they would train their shoulders. And then I have that envision in my head when I close my eyes and I train. I'm like, I imagine Arnold's deltoids like mine. So then or Kevin LeBron's, and then my deltoids just grow. I'm able to feel them more because I engage with my mind. Or imagining myself training as somebody with big deltoids allows me to get big deltoids. Essentially, that's what we're doing. All right.
So what's the difference in target areas? Because you'll see the form you just did, and then you'll see people go out, and then you'll also see kind of the heart shape.
I don't think there's any particular difference. I think the muscle is going to be trained regardless. It flexes either way. You know, I haven't noticed any sort of differences. Maybe there are some, but it all comes down to what you feel the most. Because there's some exercises I do for front raises, I don't feel them as much as others. You know, so I'll stay away from those. I'll do the ones that I feel. Hell yeah, holy shit. Oh my God, those delts just grew an inch. Can't stop looking at your delts, like I'm jealous. I wish mine looked like that. How long did it take you to grow your deltoids?
I've just been growing them a little every year. But you were talking about injuries. My first year of training, I made the mistake of playing paddle. It's kind of a Midwest thing. And therefore, like, overuse, got an injury. I don't know if it was rotator cuff, shoulder, or whatever. And so that was out for a while.
Oh, wow.
But shoulders, I've always struggled to grow because I engage my traps a lot, and then I'll get like pinched nerves.
Oh, really?
So, but this season's been great. I think they've grown the most
this
season without any sort of injury.
What do you think is the driving factor for that?
Good
Good training?
training. Good form.
Good form?
Motivation.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then really trying in daily life to do things bilaterally, you know, and not, so for people that like golf or do one-sided stuff, you know, make sure you're evening it out.
Yeah, because we want to avoid muscle imbalances as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for the next set? Let's go. 1, slower. 2, there it is. Good, drop set. All right, keep going. Slower, now, ease into it. 2, 3, 4, and hold the 5th one. Hold it, let it drop down slowly. Exactly, perfect. Good work.
Thanks.
We're done here, moving on to the next exercise. Moving on to face pulls, and this exercise will target the rear delts. So what we want to do here, essentially, is get in this position and have this metal bar either be over our eyesight or over our head. And what we want to do is when we pull the rope, we want to come into a double bicep, a position, a pose, front double bicep, like that. And what happens is that makes us pinch our back, therefore flexing the rear delt. So if Jacqueline can come here and show us, we can see way better. Exactly, there it is. That's what we want. Perfect. And then we're gonna superset. We're gonna do a back fly with these tens. What we wanna do is bend over like that, rotate the dumbbells this way, and just move the scapula. Just move the scapula back. Like so. This is what it comes down to. When we're training, after every set, we gotta ask ourselves, did it hurt? Did it burn? And most importantly, if it fucking sucked. Because that's how muscle breakdown should feel like. We're breaking down muscle. It's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be happy or easy. The difficulty determines how good are we performing in the gym. And if it's burning, it causes pain, and it sucks, those three indicators are the best way to determine whether or not we're having a good workout. So make sure you're suffering when you're training, and then learn to love it. All right, so we're done with the rear delt. We did 4 sets, 4 of them were all superset, and then the last one was a triple drop set. So it was a pretty big set. Now we're moving on to the next movement. All right, so here's what we wanna do. We wanna have our butt all the way up against the seat, right? Push our legs to the side, and now straight, chest out, back straight, leaning on our upper back, creating this void here. We want to keep this, maintain this position throughout the entirety of the workout, and we don't want to go to here. So now we're in this position, chest is out, kind of looking up. Now from here, we can grab anywhere, usually the closer the better. From here, we just push all the way up. Calm down nice and slow. Nice and slow to about here. You want to feel that front delt stretch, and then up again. And then this is the range of motion that we want, right? We don't want to go anything lower than that, because then it puts unnecessary stress on the delt, right? And then we don't want to arch too much, because then we're training upper chest. So we want to find that sweet spot, right? Like so. And then we're going to do 4 sets, anywhere between 10 to 15 on this one. And we might even go a little bit heavier towards the end. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Yeah, right? Those 2 last reps, that was everything. Think about it this way. The 14 reps were a build-up for those 2 reps, because that's where all the work was done, for 2 reps. And people stop at rep 10 or 12. We want those 2 fucking reps. What we're gonna start off first now is side raises. So we're gonna go heavy a little bit. I wanna see, because she's still strong now, we haven't utilized the side delt yet. So we're gonna see if we can pre-exhaust it a little bit. So we're gonna go heavy with the first set, 20. We'll see how many we can do. And then obviously we'll keep the form down low here. And then from there, that will set us up, based on how she performs, it will set us up for the next couple of sets of what weights we're gonna determine to basically break down as many muscle fibers as possible. It's not so much about lifting the weight all the way here, more about being in the position that even this much, it's like the equivalent of getting it up to here. It's all that's required to get it done. You know, right here. So if you can get it this much, or even this much and I'll help you for this. That's what we do. The form is the paramount, whether or not we're gonna train properly or not. Most people train their traps and their front delts. In order to avoid training those muscle groups and target the targeted area, which is the side delt, we need to have chest out, shoulders back, and now we wanna rotate them a little bit forward like this. Now, when you see my delt coming up, it's at the highest position. When I'm training like this, you see my front delt is at the highest position, and then the side delt is back here. Now, when I'm rotating forward, the side delt is at the utmost highest position, and that's when we train it the most. Then we're imagining we're having two like hooks pulling us from the ceiling from our elbows, right? We don't want to lift like that. We want to lift this, right? Hands down, forearms down, and lifting with the elbows. And this is the most effective way that I found to build the side delt. So now from here, we're gonna move on to Jacqueline. We're gonna have her do 7 reps, 12 and a half, and then we're gonna drop set to 1.5 pounds for 10 reps. Let's get into it. We're done with side lateral or side raises. Moving on to back fly for the rear delt. One of the biggest things I see people get wrong here is their form. They're training rhomboids, they're training their back, they're training their traps, but they're avoiding training the only thing they want to train, which is their rear delts. The best way that I found to work for me in order to engage my rear delt, getting in a lean position, right? The universal form, which is chest out, back straight. So now I'm leaning on my chest here. My butt is out, almost like I'm riding a motorcycle. So now what I want is my hand placement to be the same height with my shoulder. As you can see here, my shoulder is a little bit higher than the hand. So what I like to do here is bring the seat down just a tad. And now you can see they're about level, hands with shoulder. What I'd like to do from here now is raise my elbows a little bit like that and then retract the scapula. So I want to pinch my back. Now from there, I open up. Just like that. And then the back remains pinched, right? So we don't want to relax. We want to keep the tension here, squeezing the back, allowing us to move the scapula right here, flexing those rear delts, because everything comes down to scapular work. That's the only way we can flex our rear delts. We can't do it by moving our back, right? We gotta move the scapula, bring it in, squeeze back here. So that's what we're gonna do. Even with those partials, at this such a small movement, it gets the job done because the muscle is pumped, it's fatigued, the mind-muscle connection is there, and we don't need a lot of movement in order to engage it. So that's why those partial reps at the end of the exercise are very effective. Moving on to arms. Now we're gonna start with easy bar and straight bar bicep curls. So what we wanna do now is basically put some blood in the biceps. We've been training the shoulder. We have some localized blood in here. It's already there, but not there just yet. We want to bring the blood from the shoulder down to the bicep, into the entire arm. And then we're going to start with something light. We're going to go a little bit higher reps. and then move on to the actual movement. Chest out, right, shoulders back, elbows tight in. We want to go all the way down, get a good stretch, and then come up here, squeeze. We don't want to do that. Elbows always locked. Down, up to here, down, up to here. Hell yeah. How was that?
Good.
Yeah? Did you feel the burn?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we want. We want to feel the fucking burn. That's how we get big biceps. By training them failure and beyond, and then hit them with a flex set at here. Moving on to the next exercise. To the last and final exercise for tricep. So we're gonna do a reverse pull down. We're gonna target the medial head. This head right here. So instead of targeting the low one, the one back here, we're gonna target this one. And we do that by coming down here and pushing the weight down, pushing or pulling. I don't really know how to explain it, but essentially this would be the motion. Like that. To here and then down. And that essentially targets this part of the muscle. We have 4 sets here. We just did 2, but 1. We did 1. We did 1, so we have 3 more. And we're about to get into it. Are you ready? Let's go. Yes. Oh yeah. That's it. Look at that. Yes. Hold it. Perfect. And release. Good work.
Chicken arms here.
No chicken arms. No ma'am. That is going to do it for today's shoulders, thighs and tricep workout. I can't even speak right now. I'm so hungry. But anyway, what did you think of the workout?
Amazing. Great Sunday pump.
Yeah? All right, so you ready to go eat and do cardio? Or do cardio?
Cardio and then eat.
Yeah.
Synthesize all that muscle I just built.
Hell yeah. Thank you for watching. Jacqueline, her information is going to be down below if you guys want to see her. She's a doctor. What was it?
Clinical psychology.
Yeah, clinical psychology. So she has her own practice. You guys can check her out. Links below. See you guys in the next video. I'm officially 10 weeks out from my bodybuilding show, Tournament of Champions. They don't engage their lats. They actually lift. They pull down with their arms. So when they're like this and do that, only trains the arms.